11 years ago, I did something that made absolutely no sense to the people around me. I handed in my resignation to my successful engineering job because I realized that being acceptable was killing my soul. Today, I'm living in Bali. I have my own coaching academy. I have just launched my first couple of clothing lines, and at the end of last year, I published my first book. But hear me when I say this, none of this was an accident and none of this was a walk in the park. If you're feeling that whisper that you're meant for more, or you're already out there following your soul path in life and feeling like it's not going how you thought it was meant to be going, this video is for you because I'm gonna be sharing with you 5 brutal truths that celebrity coaches and marketing gurus don't tell you about following your true path in life and building a business out of your gifts and out of your purpose. Truth number 1 is that it takes longer than you think it's going to take, it costs more than you think it's going to cost, and it is so much harder than you think it's going to be. I'm sorry, not sorry to say. So many people have this fantasy that stepping out onto your true path in life, following your calling, is going to be all rainbows and sunshine, or it's meant to be, when that couldn't be further from the truth. And honestly, this is one of the most toxic mentalities that gets spread around on the internet. This expectation that it should be easy, that it shouldn't take any investment. You shouldn't need to invest in mentorship or support or education. It should just all magically work out for you like this. And I'm here to tell you that is absolutely not going to happen. You are going to be so much better prepared and so much more able to steer your path when you expect it's going to take longer than you think, it's going to cost more than you think, and it's going to be harder than you think. When I first quit my engineering job, I didn't have a clear idea of what it was that I was going to be doing or stepping into. I just knew that there was something deeper in me for me to be living. There was a soul path for me to be following, and I wanted to discover what that was. Pretty quickly, I did get into coaching, but I was just figuring it out. And after 6 months out of my job, I had spent through all of my savings, which honestly is not a problem and is really normal. But because I had taken on this idea that if I was following my true path, it should be immediately successful and I should be earning those 10K months or 6 figures or whatever immediately. And if I wasn't, it meant there was something wrong. So I remember at this 6-month point when I had spent through all my savings and I hadn't established a consistent income that was gonna support me yet through my business and through my coaching, I felt sick to my stomach because I felt like this meant I was doing something wrong and I didn't have this magnetism or ability that other people had, and therefore this whole business thing and this whole following my purpose thing was never going to work out for me. I felt like such a failure, and the shame was so intense because of what I made it mean about me that I actually couldn't show up anymore in the business I was just starting to build anyway. And this is absolutely ridiculous because there was nothing wrong. I had even had paying clients by that point, which many people haven't by that point. 6 months in, less than 6 months in, there was nothing wrong. If I had just kept going, things would have just kept expanding and working out for me, but I didn't. I spiraled in so much shame that I actually quit coaching for almost an entire year. And this is crazy. So what I want you to know is that if the process is taking what you think is a long time, that doesn't mean anything about you. Most likely, you're still uncovering what is it that you really offer the world through your gifts and talents. What shape does that take? How does that look? How do you build a business? How do you set up a system and a flow for connecting with new people, giving them a taste of your work, inviting them into other offers? There's so much that you're learning and figuring out, and that is a process that can take years, and there's nothing wrong with that. And just so you know, no one is coming into this on an equal footing. Some people have already been doing the same work and they're job, but they're just taking it into their business. Or some people are just figuring out what it is they want to offer, and it's not something that's conventionally offered. So you're literally carving your own path and discovering what it even is at the same time. Some people have had no experience with an online presence, while some people have had an online presence. Some people are intensely shy and have a whole bunch of visibility trauma to work through, and some people don't. We're all in different places when we come into this, and that's why you can't compare your journey to anyone else. And I'm just serious. It's gonna take longer, it's gonna be harder, and it's gonna cost more than you think. And the faster you embrace that, the easier it's gonna be. Truth number 2 is that you are going to have to face your deepest, darkest fears about your value, viability, and place in the world. When you have a normal job, you go into this transaction where someone offers to pay you a certain amount, usually for that job. You accept or decline that offer, or maybe ask for a little bit more, and that's kind of it. It's a completely different ball game to set your own prices, especially for products and services that you have made yourself and that might not necessarily be conventional, and you've got to put a price on it, and then you have to tell people those prices. And when it is your innate gifts and talents and abilities that you're pricing, this dredges up your deepest fears, beliefs, and shit about yourself. It is most likely going to feel worse than anything you've ever done, and that's normal. This is literally just part of the process. I remember early on in my coaching business being at a party and someone asking me what it was that I did, and so I told her just high level the coaching work that I was doing, and she said to me, "Oh my God, that sounds so cool, like I'd love to learn more about it." And I froze. I froze because I felt so much shame that I was claiming I had some value to share, even though I was very good at coaching and that I was charging money for it. So much so that I didn't follow her up with the information. I didn't say, "Oh yeah, here's the things that I do with people. We can start with one session. Would you be interested in booking that in?" That would be the natural thing to do when someone tells you they're interested. But what happened to me, and what I've observed happens with so many women, is this absolute uncomfortability with charging for your work, putting a price on it and telling people that there is a price. If you struggle with this, just know that this is very normal, and rather than ignoring it or thinking it's going to go away, you just got to face those fears. Truth number 3 is that you must unhook from seeking validation through your business. I would say just about everyone starts out in their business, or even forever runs their business, seeking validation through it, wanting it to validate that they're worthy, wanting it to validate that they're good enough, wanting it to validate that they're amazing and significant and worthy of attention. Why? Because your ego is screaming, literally screaming. When you're going to follow your true path, your ego is looking for it being validated by people. Is it okay that I'm doing this? Is it accepted? Is it wanted? Am I going to get in trouble? Am I being noticed? And then that becomes what your entire focus is. And when that is what your entire focus is, you will go into a yo-yo relationship with your business where you create content or you put offers out there, and then when it doesn't get the amount of attention or, "Oh my God, you're so amazing," that you want, that this part of you, your ego, is craving and needing, then you're going to contract, because you're going to think, "Oh, no one wants this, no one cares, no one sees this, no one sees the value in it," whatever. This is a loop we have to get you out of if you want to build your business, especially a business that's sharing your gifts and your unique offers, because that's going to bring up this need for validation more than anything else. For the first couple of years in my coaching business, I had such a hard time posting on social media, sharing content, sharing about what I was doing. I would literally make like a content plan and post content every day for 1 week, and then be so traumatized and feel so ashamed that I hadn't got more validation or engagement and attention that I then wouldn't post for 4 months, 5 months, or 6 months until until I could get myself going on it again. And that's what happens when you're unconsciously orientated to responding to how much validation you're getting. That's what you got to learn how to quit in your business. I remember distinctly when I made this shift. I made this shift from being affected by that and responding to that to being really clear on who am I serving, and I'm just going to put out what is going to serve that person every single day, something that I just know they need to hear or is going to help them to hear. And once I decided to do that, I posted every single day consistently for years. There have been a couple of times in the last couple of years, like when I've written my book, that I haven't posted every single day, but for a really long time, I posted every single day. And that consistency is what did finally grow my business to reach 6 figures, because I managed to stop making my business about validation and focus on the service of it. Because when you can make it about something higher than yourself, and you can make it about the service, and that you claim, yeah, this is what I'm here to share, you will take consistent, forward flowing, functional action towards that. When you are hooked in the validation game, you're not going to. You're always going to either oscillate or just get completely stuck. Truth number 4 is your value is not your bank account or your income from the thing that you are trying to sell. This is a really big distinction, because so many people get stuck on this, and I got so stuck on this for so long. I had this unconscious assumption that people would only want to work with me if they saw me already being massively successful and recognized for what it was that I was offering. So it was like, I have to be successful in order for anyone to want to work with me, but I can't get successful unless people work with me. It's a catch-22, and I know that so many women have this exact same feeling. I remember it was a coach that I worked with over a few years that really helped me with this. I would come to this coach sometimes all up in my shit about a new offer that I was wanting to create, and the fears that I had that no one would want it. And when we dug into why that was, what kept coming up for me is because I'm not successful enough, so they're not going to see me as an authority. And what this coach said to me was, people don't care about how much money you're making and how much success you have. They care what you can do for them. And if you actually just stay focused on what you can do for them and helping the people that want to receive that help for you, the rest will take care of itself. And this has been absolutely true. And it really comes down to you letting go of that belief and assumption, and also making sure that you're not selling something that you are not embodied in, because that's actually just a way of self-sabotage as well. For example, if you haven't reached, let's say, 6 figures in your business, but you're trying to tell people you can help them reach 6 figures, that's something that's not really going to work out so well for you. Truth number 5 is just shut up and try shit. Stop trying to figure out how it's all going to work, because you can't know from the beginning. You can't make something perfect before you put it out there. The only thing that you can do is stay consistent, learn, grow, create, adjust, create, adjust, create, adjust. That's how everything is going to get created, and that's how your business is going to just continue to grow and expand. You have to be willing to fail. You have to be willing to try things that you don't know if they're going to work. And the faster that you can do both of those things, the faster you're going to grow, and the faster you're going to get the information you need that's going to then create those things that do pop off. Your path is something to be discovered and uncovered. It's not something that you can just perfectly create from the beginning. The only way to do it is to just follow the breadcrumbs, the next breadcrumb, the next breadcrumb, the next breadcrumb. A story that I was sharing in the mastermind that I run, Feminine Mystery School, is a perfect story to share here in this moment. There was a woman who did one of my courses a couple of years ago. She ended up generating quite a lot of success, quite a big online presence. She was running courses in her craft and teaching things, and she had this idea for a course that she wanted to run for other creators. So this was sort of a pivot, but for the same clientele that had been taking her other courses. So she launched this course, and we talked about me doing a guest class in this course. which I did, and she had 2 people enroll. Now, she could have got butthurt about that and been like, oh my God, no one wants this, I'll just go back to my other thing. But she didn't. She went, okay, what can I learn from this? I think the title is a bit too edgy. I think the angling is not quite right, is not quite what my audience is ready for. So she relaunched this course a few months later. She changed the name, she changed some different things in it. Again, she asked if I'd like to come and run a guest segment in it. And do you know how many people she had sign up for this next one? She had 2 people sign up for that first one. She had 200 people sign up for this next one. That's what happens when you just do. So save the energy on doubting yourself or trying to figure it all out and get it right to begin with. You can't. You have to put it out there, you get feedback, and then you adjust it. If you're still here watching this video, you're like me. You didn't come here for an ordinary life, and you know it. You came here for an extraordinary one. And if you're ready to stop holding back and start claiming the space that you're meant for, my book that I mentioned I recently published, Be Unacceptable, was written just for you. It's about making the switch from living in the cage of acceptability and waiting to be recognized to claiming the space that you're meant for and stepping onto the stage that you want to be on, the stage that you know you're here for. You can find the link in the description. Or if you're ready to step into your genius and have coaching and mentorship that's going to support you on your path, then find the link in my description to apply for a free discovery call and explore if it's right for you. All right, I think let's just end it there.